And today we're getting together and working with Technical Financial Solutions, TFS. We have Tony here. He has been a partner of mine for quite a while. We go way back, and we're going to be talking about our strategic partnership with them as a supplier in our portfolio and all the different things that they do, from auditing and risk assessments, and everything from healthcare to insurance, automotive, and a lot of different vertical markets that he's able to work with and his experiences. And we're very privileged to have him here today. And Tony, tell us a little bit about you, about TFS, and let's just kind of talk shop here a little bit about what you are and how applicable you are to all of our clients.
Oh yeah, awesome. Well, Wade, first of all, I appreciate you having me, and it's been a pleasure working with you over the years. And like you said, we've known each other, worked with each other for quite a while, and very pleased to be part of the VENSEARCH family. Just to give you a quick background, or really, my background, but to give everybody else a quick background, I personally spent about 5 years in corporate accounting. Then I spent about 5 years implementing accounting systems, and then the next 5 years was with the Big Four, testing the controls over those systems. And after that, I started TFS. That was early 2008. And really the goal was to help our clients to be able to test those controls over data security, whether they needed help, didn't have the expertise, didn't have the time, whatever the combo was for them. That was really what we launched into to try to help our client base. And it's the same thing we're doing today. And the bottom line is risk assessments are a very large part of what we do. And what we're really trying to do for our client base is to boil that down into a no nonsense view of the NIST cybersecurity framework, which is probably the most commonly used framework for a risk assessment. And I know that when a lot of folks look at that cybersecurity framework, it's a little bit confusing. They're not really sure exactly what it is. And so again, we've tried to boil that down to a so what mentality of, so what if I don't have MFA, or so what if I don't have a asset inventory that's current. And then the next step on that is to do what? Okay, what is it I need to do now that I understand the actual risk related to that? What do I need to do? And then finally, and now what? And that is, hey, how do I make sure I'm ready for an external audit in the event that we had a breach, or there was just an external audit in general? And so that's kind of a quick lowdown of what we're doing for our client base. As you know, it's everything from risk assessments to vulnerability scanning, pen testing, phishing, anything really around assessing and documenting those controls. Are they working? Are they in place? That kind of thing.
Right. And now you have the expertise, your staff and everything is very seasoned in doing, these audits and assessments, but then you have some very, very sophisticated tools that really help kind of organize and provide the data in a very structured manner for these clients to be able
Right.
to have that sense of, I know where everything's at. I'm following the rules that's been laid out. And then I guess the biggest win is that TFS is there from start to finish and then beyond.
Right. The beyond is a big part, right? Yeah, that's one of our kind of, in my opinion, one of the separators, and that is when we contract with a client, it's explicit in the contract that they get unlimited audit support related to our work at no extra charge. And we definitely have. Obviously, there are breaches out there, and there have been some large ones, and we have been right there every step of the way with our clients as they have worked with the lawyers, and the lawyers have worked with OCR. And we've learned a lot from that. And our work product is strong enough that I can give that, right, because obviously that every time is money in our world, and
Sure.
so that's a big give in an engagement. So I've got to be confident in what we're doing in order to put that in there. But we still learn things, and we're able to share that experience with those external auditors, with the rest of our client base, and say, okay, let's tweak a few things, let's make it a little tighter. This is the kind of thing they're going to ask for. This is the kind of thing they want. So that's really a big part of it. And I guess you made the comment about having things, the tools that we use, really having to pull it together. And this year, for instance, we've made a switch over to a new software that does just that. It pulls together not only the documentation, it makes it easier and less frustrating for our client base in gathering documentation. But then the other big piece is that it marries the overarching risk analysis and the detailed risk assessment, and makes those really married to come together to make sense. And I don't know that it's been a long time since I've really seen that. And so our client base is so far is really embracing that and very excited about that aspect of the assessment.
Well, when you reviewed it with me, I was very excited. I mean, it's something that I have not quite seen it put just like that. I'm used to, when we work together in an organization and I was your client,
Right,
you did it very well and you laid it out. And I was used to red light, green light, yellow light, and
right,
having everything just kind of on paper. But this is something that's, and looking at other suppliers too, that we personally work with. This is kind of a state of the art. This is like an evolution of a tool that I think brings it all together. So I'm very excited about it.
yeah. Well, number one, I appreciate the positive feedback, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it's hard to get people excited about risk assessments and
It
auditing
is.
and IT. It's a tough space to be in if you want excitement from the other side of the discussion.
It is, but when you pull it together like you're doing, it gets a little exciting, especially when you have
Right,
dashboards and you see the measures, and then you kind of
right,
know, hey, I can actually hold somebody accountable without sending 5,000 emails or
right.
picking up the phone and saying, "Not you owe me this, you owe me this, you owe me this." So I really I like the tool. So and dovetail into this for me. So because a lot of folks, they when they hear audit or assessment,
Right,
they don't know the depths, right? I mean, that's your job. That's what you're there to come
right,
in and help that client. And obviously, our job is to help facilitate and say, what do you need and who's the best for that, best
right,
fit for that. But when you take an audit, an assessment, let's just call it a full assessment,
mhm,
you literally take it from start to finish. Everything from vulnerability scanning to
right,
doing the audit and the assessment, even down to you will take it and do the phishing simulations and the
right,
employee training, the awareness
right,
training. You're the complete package. You do
right.
everything.
Right, and in that complete package, one thing that we have tried to do have been tried to be very careful about, and that is what I call staying in our lane. And so the way we've defined our lane is anything that relates to assessing or documenting or testing of controls. And
Sure.
so everything you just mentioned, if you think about it, even down to helping a client with their security policies and procedures, we're really documenting and we're just helping them to document what they have, and yeah, we're giving them guidance on, wow, we would expect to find X in this space. And that's not what we're seeing here as we're working through this with you. So yeah, we're the full cycle when it comes to the risk assessment. But like you said, we lean on other experts when it comes to things that are not in our lane. And so that's just not something that we've really wanted to ever come out of our space. We want to
Right.
make sure that we stick to what we're excellent at.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's more value, in my opinion, for the client because you're not worried about 50 other things. I know this is the one provider that can do everything I need for this space. Makes sense. So, tell me a little bit about some of the verticals that you're able to do this in, and you're nationwide. You can do it anywhere. Doesn't
Right.
matter
Absolutely.
that, and you're really applicable. But give me kind of a use case briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you and I were talking earlier, we're in industries that are on one end of the spectrum are very mature in this risk assessment world, like a healthcare, industry. We do a lot of work in healthcare. If you go down the line a bit, insurance industry this is a bit newer for them. And then all the way down to say like the latest FTC safeguards rule, which is impacting multiple industries, but most notably auto dealerships and CPA firms. In the mature markets, this is old hat to them. They've been doing this for a while, and we're really trying to bring a bit of a fresh perspective to that for them. Like you said, with this new approach and this new software that we really feel like will bridge it all together. But we're also trying on the other end of the spectrum to help an industry that this is all brand new. They've never had to do this. Certainly, they understand having controls in place over, to make data secure, but going through a full security risk assessment and the documentation that's required, it's a whole nother level. And so that's something they're not used to. So we're trying to make that process as friendly and painless as possible so that they'll embrace it and not just treat it as something to check off that they did so they could meet the requirements. And that's really what we want for all of our clients, is this to truly be something that benefits them and makes their data more secure, not just a survey questionnaire that they feel like is enough, just enough to meet the requirement. And so that's really where we're going.
Good deal. Yeah, it is exciting times, and obviously, cybersecurity is not going anywhere. We've got to
Yeah,
have it. Assessments is needed. All of these things is necessary, and obviously that plays even into the cybersecurity insurance policies and
right.
mandates. I mean, look, pay penalties, or do what you should do, or have to pay the penalties, or at
Right.
worst, get breached and then have a problem, and then that's going to cost you even more in the long run. So
Yeah. There's definitely multiple areas there that, a client needs to watch out for. Like you mentioned, there's obviously the, agencies that potential fines, but not to mention if it's a legal requirement in your industry and you aren't up to the standard, you aren't meeting the regulation, there's the potential for civil lawsuits. If there's a breach, that's something that, it's a whole nother spectrum of risk that we really don't want our client base to be, facing.
absolutely. Well, then, kind of summarizing, my summary is this: work with TFS, and it's going to be a layer of protection that really just kind of brings things together, and you can do the audits and the risk assessments and prepare, help the client prepare. But in closing, Tony, anything that you want to wrap up with?
No, I mean, normally I lead off with it, but I'll wrap up with it, and that is our company was founded on Colossians 3:23, and what it means for us is that we want to do everything to the Lord and as to the Lord and not to man, and that doesn't mean that we are exclusive. It means we treat everybody with respect, and we treat every situation and opportunity to work for a client with a higher calling in mind. And what it's really led to is very happy clients, and it's worked well for us. And that, I guess it hasn't. It's not that it works for us; it's who we are, and I guess that's the real piece.
That's it. I couldn't have said it better myself. Good deal. Well, listen, Tony, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and look forward to continuing to work together and making an impact for clients and utilizing TFS and your solutions.
Absolutely appreciate that way.